Hey beauties, thank you for joining me once again. Today I'm doing something a little more glam. I'm giving you a date night hair and makeup tutorial. It's just glam enough to look really pretty and sexy, but not too much that you look like you have a ton of makeup on. Keep watching to see how I created this look that's perfect for a date or really any special occasion. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm starting with my hair pulled back away from my face because for my foundation, I'm actually going to be using the Belletto Airbrush makeup system. This is actually a newer machine from them, and what I like about it is that it has the wheel, just turn it on, it has the wheel that determines the pressure, and you don't just get like a step 1, step 2, step 3. So this kind of gives you the option of having whatever pressure level that you're comfortable with. And lately I've been getting a few questions on my blog about airbrush and what the difference is and how it looks, so I'm just going to go ahead and show you how it looks. So here's my gun, and with airbrush, some people may not know that you can mix colors if you don't have the exact foundation color for use. So I am using Latte and Sahara Sand, both by Belletto, and I'm just going to put the color into the well right here in the gun, and I'm going to use about 6 drops of Latte and just 2 drops of Sahara Sand just to darken it up just a tad. 1, 2, well, let's do 3. And so now to mix it, I'm going to turn the machine on. So to mix colors in an airbrush machine, what you want to do is cover up the nozzle and just pull back, and you'll see it bubbling up in there. And that's basically mixing it up. And I'm going to hold the gun about 8 inches away from my face and gently pull back on the little lever to distribute the product. So I always want to keep my hand moving. I never want to keep it in one place. So I'm just going to continue doing this until I have the desired amount of coverage. So I'm also going to be using a blush with my airbrush machine, just because this color actually is called Coraleia. The way it goes on, it just looks so pretty. So I'm going to apply this. So this can be just a little more challenging just because it is a color and it is going in one particular spot, one area. But again, you feel exactly where it's going. There we go. And here's something else I love doing with an airbrush machine, whether my foundation is airbrushed or not. After I'm done, I like going through and adding a few drops of a bronzing color. I love doing this. I'm just going to add about 4 drops of the bronze color. And this one I'm going to hold a little bit further back so it is an all-over color and not so much of a concentrated color. You can see I added just a little bit of a contour into my cheekbones. But for the rest of my face, I'm really just adding like a nice veil of a bronze glow. So that is it for my face. My foundation, blush, bronzer, all of that is on. I'm going to move on to the eyes. So I've got one eye done. Now I'm going to do the other. I'm going to start out by applying the Benefit Stay Don't Stray Primer, which is my favorite. And I pretty much always just apply this with my finger just because it's just quickest and easiest to do it this way. For this look, I'm going to be using my Naked 3 palette by Urban Decay, and to start I'm going to take a blending brush and dip into Nooner. It's a nice kind of dark mauve color. I'm just going to work this into the outer part of my crease. This is going to be the color that I build on. So really I'm just stopping at the halfway point and really concentrating on this outer part. Now I'm taking another blending brush, and I'm going to take a little bit of Darkside, not a whole lot, just at the very tip of the brush, and I'm going to start working this into the very outermost part of my crease and just kind of start blending it in. So now I'm going back to that first blending brush and just taking a little bit more of Nooner and using it to blend out that dark color. This is a really blended look, so you want to make sure you take your time blending. So now I'm just going to take my ring finger and going to take a little bit of dust and apply that just at the center of my lids. You know I love doing this. This is my favorite. And just really highlight that center part of my eyelid. And that is it for the eyeshadow. Now I'm going to move on to the liner. So I'm taking my Eyeko I Do liquid liner pen, And I like to put on liquid liner with my eyes open. I don't know if that's weird, but I just kind of tilt my head back a little bit. Start at the inner corner. And then once you get to the outer corner, you're just going to map out the winged flick here. So now that I've mapped out my winged liner, I'm going to go back in with a black, just a really dark black eyeshadow. And this one's by Urban Decay. It's called Blackout. It's my favorite black eyeshadow. And I'm just going to take a flat brush and start just at the edge of the liner, just start smoking it out. So you're basically blending out this black shadow at the edge of the black liner. Just giving it that smoky look. And you want to do this more heavily at the outer part than at the inner part. In the inner part, you just want to do it a little bit. And then once you get to the outer corner, just use a little more of the shadow. I'm just going to go ahead and move on to mascara. And of course I am going to apply mascara to the bottom lashes. And one final step for the eyes, of course, is the brows. Just really completes the whole look. And finally, for the lips, I'm going to be using a Dose of Colors lipstick. It's called Poise. This is actually brand new, and it's the perfect color. It's a really nice satiny nude shade. So I'm just going to put that on and just blot the edges with my finger. So it's just a more natural finish. Okay, now the makeup is done, on to the hair. For my hair, I'm going to be using the NuMe Titan 3-in-1 curling rod. This is the biggest size. It comes with 2 smaller sizes as well. And I pretty much always prefer to use the biggest barrel just because I get more of a relaxed wave rather than tight curls. So this is also digital, so it's telling me how high the heat's going up. So I'm going to set it to 200. So what I'm going to do with this look, because it's like a date night flirty look, I'm just going to put big body waves in my hair. I don't like a really tight polished curl, so I'm just going to go through, not even section off the hair, but just take random pieces and curl them. What I like to do is take just a bunch of hair and really focus the curl at the top. So you see I'm holding it right up here by the root. I don't hold it at the bottom very long. Just kind of play with it. You know, you want to make sure you, again, don't set in this big tight curl. So once I let it go, you see it's got this just really relaxed wave to it. And I just run my fingers through it a couple of times just to make sure that it's not a tight curl, and that actually turned out perfectly. Kind of wiggle it up and down. And once I get to the bottom, don't hold it very long. This barrel size is perfect. And then once I get to the bangs, I hold it for even less time, because I don't want the bangs to be super curly. And that's it. God, I love that. That is the perfect shape right there. And of course, for date night hair, you want touchable hair. You don't want it to be really crunchy. So use a hairspray that's got either an oil of some sort in it, or I can never escape that. Just be sure you use a hairspray that will leave your hair touchable and soft and not crunchy. So that completes my date night makeup and hair look, and again, this can be used for other occasions too. It doesn't have to be just for a date. Be sure to check the description box for all the products I use, as well as discount codes for the Belletto airbrush system and the NuMe curling set. I hope you guys enjoyed this look. If you did, give it a like and share. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video.